let's just take a look at some video. We're going to go through a couple clips, one from Fox News and another from MSNBC. And as we mentioned earlier, you know, we want you to be involved in the chat. I see people saying they had quesadillas, they had noodles and chicken. Now I want you instead to concentrate on what do you see that could perhaps be biased? What do you hear? Are things framed appropriately? And what we're going to watch are not segments necessarily from opinion shows, because we do know that these networks have opinion shows. But these are segments framed in what should be more of straight down the middle news coverage. So let's take a look, and as you see things, feel free to enter it into the chat.
Mark, good morning. How much travel do we expect these men to do in the days ahead? Hello.
Hey, Bill, good morning to you. Well, normally there really would be nothing but travel, but as you mentioned today, Joe Biden's going to be keeping his campaign close to home, talking about the economy in Delaware. As for President Trump, he is about to begin a whirlwind weekend of campaigning. It all gets started this afternoon. He'll be heading down south for campaign events in the Villages, then a rally tonight in the Panhandle in Pensacola. He'll be staying overnight in Florida, getting a chance to early vote tomorrow, and then it's on to the battleground states. He'll be holding rallies this weekend in places like North Carolina, Ohio, and Wisconsin, and then Sunday another rally in New Hampshire. Now, during the debate last night, the president repeatedly promised that he's going to do more to bring the economy back from the brink. That's likely something we're going to hear the president talk a lot more about this weekend as he campaigns. He also criticized Biden last night for not doing more in-person events amid the pandemic.
We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that.
Polls taken before last night's debate, though, show Joe Biden still ahead by a healthy margin. The latest Real Clear Politics average shows Biden with an 8-point lead, but the campaigns both tell us that they are looking more at those state polls to give us an idea of where things are on the ground.
What's become a rally custom, the advance staff tonight tried to make sure the people behind the president in his head-on camera angle were masked. The rest of the crowd, not so much. Here was the president's message about the pandemic.
We're rounding the turn on the pandemic. We understand that, hey, I just had it. Here I am, you know, it's me. It's actually me. I got to get out, and I have to meet people, and I have to see people. And I know it's risky to do that, but you have to do what you have to do. You know, I'm the president. I can't sit in the basement. I'm immune, they tell me. I'm immune. I could come down and start kissing everybody. I'll kiss every guy, man and woman. Who has had it here? Who's had it? Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people. Well, you're the people I want to say hello to because you're right now immune.
Joe Biden had this to say about the president while campaigning in Florida.
I prayed for his recovery when he got COVID. And I'd hoped at least he'd come out of it somewhat chastened. But what has he done? He's just doubled down on the misinformation he did before and making it worse. While he throws super spreader parties at the White House, where Republicans hug each other without concern to the consequences. How many of you have been unable to hug your grandkids in the last 7 months?
Now, there you see the two clips, MSNBC and Fox. And granted, I had to cut them up for this, right? I couldn't show them in complete context. But I would argue you should be able to pull out pieces of news like this, and hopefully they're unbiased. But Chris, as we're looking in chat right now, we have some really good responses from people about things they saw that didn't quite look right.
Yeah, it's true. It's quite a lot of great responses. Some of the ones that I've seen kind of repeated lately is the sound bites that are taken to fit a narrative bias. That's very evident in these. And then also, as we could see between the Fox News and MSNBC, one or the other candidate has been given more time and there's a rebuttal and all that. So I want to take this time, if anybody wants to unmute. I know Eileen Questenberry, you have some really great input, and or anybody else, feel free to unmute and kind of just explain some of those things if you guys want.
Well, for me, what I've seen is just, they don't necessarily have to say against Biden or against Trump. The reporters themselves, without even using the words, their body language, their facial expressions, the disdain, instead of just sticking to reporting the stories to us, they're sending us a message, and it's a very subliminal, very, easy on us message, but we're still getting it no matter which news stations we're listening to, whether it's your very local to your national. And I think that's something that people don't even truly pick up on.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate that, and appreciate everybody putting comments in the chat right now. We're going to move on in the interest of time, but there'll be plenty of other opportunities to jump in, including this. Betsy, if you want to throw up the poll, our first poll, but I was just interested, both of the clips you just saw, I pulled off YouTube. And I would argue that even in these still images, there's some bias in them. So I would be interested in your perspective. Is there one that, particularly jumps out as biased? Maybe they both do. Maybe they're both fine. But I would just be interested in your read on that. So feel free to jump in. I see both images. I see MSNBC. There's a good mix here. And we'll close that out here in just a second. But I do see, yes, both images, and then second would be yes, the MSNBC image. And I would argue that perhaps that second one tells more of a narrative. There's a great point Julie just made of, President Trump looks disheveled maybe in the Fox News one. I presume that's the one that she means, when Biden, not so much. I would argue the MSNBC one, though, makes President Trump look like the aggressor, right? And then maybe Biden a little more noble. But the point here is simply whether you feel one way or the other about the pictures, even down to the pictures we choose, tells some sort of a story.
Hi, and thanks for visiting my channel. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe, comment below, or click another one of these videos. Make it a great day.